Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Wantless, where I spent some time fiddling around with our skills, trying to figure out the best way to cram extra effects into things. And honestly, at the moment, the huge limiter is our overall discipline. Like, we just can't afford to put 3 effects on almost anything. You can see here, I did edit the spider missile. I took the fragilize back onto this so that we're at least getting the benefit from it, admittedly minor as it may be relative to enemies having like 800 health or whatever. It adds up over time, and it just wasn't doing very much on the ranger. So the ranger now is just impact damage, which is like fine, that's whatever. I messed with the cooldown and cost of a couple of things. We should be able to cast the buckler more reliably now. Both of our summons are at 3-turn cooldown, but it is what it is given the discipline situation. And honestly, when I tried to build like the spider missile with shield bash into it, or like anything, when I tried to do anything like ambitious with this, it ended up costing like over 3,000 discipline by itself, and we only have 3770 as our cap. So I think like at the moment, the most valuable thing we can do in the skill tree is just gain discipline, in the mind tree, sorry. But fortunately, please, that sound loud as hell every time we come in here. Fortunately, we are probably just going to head down this self-improvement line here, so it's going to work out really well for us. So with all that in mind, let's get to the business of the episode, which is heading down to the frontier, I guess? They said south, right? It is marked as the edge of sanity. This here is a bastion of humanity. I don't think Mr. Faceless wants us going to a bastion of humanity. So I guess let's go see what it's all about. I do like the idea an awful lot of having like an opening turn in a battle where it's just like put the totem on one side of us, put the ranger on the other side, and then cast the shield spell so that we all get all of the buffs, and then the totem applies barrier to all of us, and it's just like then we're free to do all of this damage, and in theory probably not take very much. I guess we'll see. The fabled altar thought docked in my little hamlet. I'm humbled. How long has it been, Eris? 5 years? I know a guy who dresses like this, really? 6. I'm sorry, I had a lot of thinking to do, but I shouldn't have left it all in your hands. It's okay. My views on transposition have always been simpler than yours. Frontier isn't much of a destination, so I assume you're headed south, into the fog. There's an awful lot of talk about this fog here. I would love it if somebody would explain to me the deal with the fog. Unfortunately, Iris already knows, apparently, so there's no reason for anybody to explain it to us, but I'm definitely a foreboding feeling is taking over. We are. Would you let us through? No. Not before I'm sure you're ready. Life inside the fog is harsher, and you haven't exactly proven to be mentally impervious so far. What's special about this fog? It wasn't there 6 years ago. Okay, she doesn't know. Not much. It's a gas cloud emanating from the autonomous gigafactory down south. Lack of maintenance, I guess. Okay, so it's not fog at all, it's smog. That's different. That's a different thing. Is it toxic? Well, I'm no expert, but I don't think so. The hamlets inside just have a bad reputation is all. Healthy minds are rare enough under the sunlight. There might be none left inside that perpetual washed-out gray. I've dealt with my share of broken spirits, Carrick. You of all people should know that. Yeah, a long time ago. What would you have me do? I have 3 violent felons under my custody. Seems like my old military transposer fame hasn't waned off yet. You haven't performed criminal transposition before, have you? I have an ethical problem. Hold on, it was one thing before when they were asking for it. No, not a personal fan of non-consensual neurosurgery. I bet. Easier to turn a blind eye to their fate than to risk staining that shiny moral mantle of yours. Well, I will admit, like, when it, when they're asking for it, it does make it really easy to just sort of like offload all of the moral questions onto them. It's like, whatever, he asked for it, it's his fault if this is an immoral thing to do. But I guess that's not really fair. Like, is it ever moral to put someone in that state of wantlessness, which is essentially, I mean, like, hey, I got an idea for making my YouTube series fun. Why don't we just spend a while talking about the ethics and people's feelings about assisted suicide, right? Justice and its wardens have given in to terminal transposition a long time ago. You of all people should know that. You've transposed many of them into wantlessness yourself. Law enforcement, investigations, trials, they're history book material now. Yeah. There are only 3 outcomes left for the people in that cell. 1, I keep them in there forever. 2, I get their bodies out cold and harmless. 3, you upsize their criminal intents, possibly against their will. Yes, they will lose a part of their personality, but they'll be free, healthy, and harmless to others. You're free to say no, but I'm not letting you through my Hamlet before I know you can handle what's next. Why did you come back if you're still not ready to make tough calls? Tough calls. You have no idea. Okay, that's... Ugh. Also, what would it mean to upsize someone's criminal intent? Right? Like, that's a separate part of the brain. You can just... But, I mean, like literally, as ridiculous as that is, and I'm obviously making a comparison between that and lobotomy to point out how horrific it is and how, like, not just immoral, but also, like, completely absurd to think that it's even possible. This literally was how lobotomy was used for a long time, right? Like, the reason we have the cultural sort of feelings about it that we do now is because of the way it was used as quote-unquote treatment for problematic peoples. So basically this all sucks, but none of it's in a new way, which is like, I feel like this is some of the most effective cyberpunk. Yo, I would so gladly trade 22% of my total health for 33% total discipline. Without even thinking about it, I would do that if we had 5,400 tokens. Jesus Christ. Well, 2-3 duo cycling's interesting. I'm not super excited about that. This might be worth buying. Something discipline weight 9. I mean, we're starting to get up into the discipline costs where like a 1% discount matters. If I could save 1% on that, that like 3,500 cost thing that I was contemplating, it actually would be enough room to put a lesser skill in. Because a lot of our stuff, like we're starting to see some of our costs really shoot up, but like dash and the flick skill is just like simple utility skills still do have costs in like the low double digits. I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy this. I don't have a specific use for it, but I think it's a generally useful thing. And then we're gonna cry. We're gonna cry a little bit about not having 5,000 more tokens. Anyway, I guess let's take on some patients here. Sabine the Stapler, Kerrig's violent prisoner. So you're the one he's chosen to tear me apart. That spineless brute hasn't the stomach to peek inside my old spirit, so he sends a little girl in his stead. And she agrees, the poor thing. Do you have any idea what you might find in here, child? The things I've done to people. I can show you if you want. Maybe I'll even perform on you while you're in here. Who knows how your mind will come back out. Let's have a look, I said happily. So, alright. Let's meet the others. Hey, it's Iris, right? I've heard about you. They say you were really gentle when you used to do this a few years ago, so I'm happy you're the one to handle it. Your eyes tell me you're not sure whether you should be doing this, transposing me. I do look pretty normal, considering. Well, you should do it. I killed my kid. Yeah, it's pretty hard, right? Boy. Okay, so I'm a little bit of a stickler for grammar in sort of a general sense. I think more than most people. But like this is a really great example of like where it kind of matters a lot. Like laying on something this heavy and then writing this, which without the punctuation, like, because this isn't something she's writing, it's something she's speaking, right? So we would understand her sentence, we would understand her statement as being punctuated, it would have a comma, it would have a question mark. It appearing like this makes it look like it was written by an edgy 11-year-old, and that makes this part stop, like it retroactively really diminishes the impact. Like once she says this thing starts looking like just some shit an edgy kid said to like shock you. All of a sudden, my empathy is disengaged. I was about to get transposed into wantlessness, and Carrig here, he doesn't transpose children, so I didn't want to leave him alone. But then when I did it, I sat there for a while and realized I didn't deserve to sleep after all. Ended up turning myself in here. That's a wild direction to take that in. I was gonna get wantless. Carrig told me he wouldn't wantless the kid, so then I went and killed the kids that I could kill. I mean, like, if her aim was to have the kid transposed into wantlessness in the first place, yeah, I mean that's fucked. Still, I'm doing the math like I'm gonna come to any conclusion other than that's very fucked. That's a horrible thing to do. Anyway, yeah, you should transpose me. It'll be good. Maybe it'll actually be too good for me. Maybe don't then. Just leave me in old Carrig's cage instead. Well, I'm pretty sure we do have to do all three of these, right? It's not like we're gonna do one of them and come back the next day and it's gonna be a different crop, right? These are the three people that he has imprisoned. Are you waiting for something? A complaint? An explanation? Just start already. This is meaningless anyway. You, me, this interaction, it's all meaningless. Okay, yeah, like totally given over to fatalism. I can understand that. Skill can be reused if it directly kills a target. That's interesting. So, do they mean it refires for free if it directly kills a target? Because, as it is, with a cooldown of 0, skill can already be reused, regardless, right? Your thing is a permanently berserk summon, the Murder Ranger. That's interesting. Oh, wow, okay. So AP cost 8 with a 55% power bonus, minus 1 AP per affliction stack on affected entities. And it has a base discipline weight of 5, which is really low. That's fascinating. This shit is almost too heavy to even want to talk about it on camera, because I don't really want to come at it extemporaneously, you know? Like, alright, what's your deal? Enemies hit twice. Enemies explode on death. And enemies resist grief damage. Well, okay, the thing we're going to get the most direct use out of is this one, I guess. And Sabine is the most, like, directly adversarial. So I guess I feel least bad about this one. I mean, Lena did a horrible thing, but she also, like, clearly is tortured by it and has remorse. Okay. I didn't realize it was going to be quite so heavy when I decided to play it for the channel. I might have thought twice. You know, not that I don't want to be able to, like, have an intellectual, you know, examination of serious topics or anything, but, like, but that's heavy. If only you knew what's in other people's minds. Okay, well, I guess let's go do the thing. Upsize criminal intents. This This is a bizarre idea. A complex. One often has shameful, uncomfortable thoughts. These are not easily forgotten, so they're locked away, avoided, asphyxiated. Unwise is he who pokes at it. Or she. If we're going to talk about how unwise I am, let's do it correctly. So, this says thorned. I want to see... Okay, 50 pure damage. That's harsh. That's pretty harsh. So, we can step up. I definitely want to be like a little closer to the lot of them. We can step up to here and execute a dash. I am still using the controller, by the way, because my shoulder is still fucked. So... I do recognize that that is perhaps going to create some non-optimal moments here and there, but, you know, again, it is what it is. Until my shoulder heals, this is where we're at. Okay, so we have exactly enough AP as it stands to do that totem, then ranger, then buckler turn that I was talking about. So it matters a lot less. I was trying to like catch enemies unawares, but oh, right. I keep forgetting. We can summon stuff without waking. That's so wild to me. All right, let's try to figure that out. Like, where would be a good place to do that? If I go, and I do need to not go over 5 AP spend while I'm doing so, right? So I'm wondering, like, does it make sense to put down the totem? Like, here doesn't seem like a great place to put it in the sense that it's probably going to have a hard time hitting enemies from here, except for, obviously, the one that we're putting it down right next to. I kind of, like, I want to put it up here more. So do I just move forward? Because I kind of want to summon something now, but I also want things to stay together so that I can do the buckler move. I think I'm just gonna move to here. I think this is where I would like to start the fight from. And if we don't get seen this turn, I will just go big. Okay. And if we do get seen, I also will just go big. Nothing changes. All right. So y'all got 70 HP. The Ghastly Bulwark Rod is probably actually not going to kill anybody. So do I want to maybe go Ranger first? Because the thing is, one of them is going to get to attack. Well, I guess I want you to go because, oops, not that. I want to summon this first because I want this to go off because I want it to give me the barrier. Because right, only one of them is going to get to act. The way I have this set up. Because the Ranger's only going to have 2 AP. But the Totem has 5. Ow. Guy actually blew himself up on the thorns. That's pretty fun. Wow, they're all doing it. None of them want to live. Okay, you don't get to do any damage, but you do get to throw up a barrier on me, and isn't that just as good? So if I move to here, we can definitely get the thing off on the other guy. We can definitely get the missile. I guess I only have to move 1 space to be able to perform the missile. Oh, except line of sight problems. Never mind. Never mind the thing I just said. In fact, I have to move all the way to here to be able to do this. And I'm going to take damage. That's annoying. But getting the poison up, I think, is pretty critical. At this point, do I just run back? So the way wounded is worded, it makes me think that if I dashed, it wouldn't actually cause the damage to go down any. I have 3 AP left. So we could punch this guy, but I don't think it kills him. I still have my thorns. I think I dash back. Or I think I walk back. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple of barrier charges here, and we're going to try to survive that way. Alright, thorn damage for you. Invulnerability for me. Like, that guy's effect took both of the that guy's attack took both of the charges. Is it because he applied 2 effects? I'm still not sure. And like sometimes it seems like we gain 2 barrier charges from the barrier casting, and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Do I want to? Still wounded. I kind of want to just pass the turn, honestly. You have enough AP that you will be able to attack. And my totem doesn't have enough AP to apply. I guess one thing I could do is I could dash to an adjacent space. We won't take very much damage, but it will still spend 2 AP. So we still get the discharge. And see, this time it gave me 2 charges. Oh, the poison killed him anyway. Alright, Tranquility seems like a good idea. I could use a little bit of that. And we have 2 waymarked routes. Okay, well. So yeah, forgive me if I don't engage, perhaps super deep with the heady material here, because I am a little afraid to come at it extemporaneously. And listen, I'd be worried about it if I were in tip-top shape. I am not in tip-top shape. I am definitely like I have not slept as much as I would like, because you know, the shoulder and everything is definitely interfering with that. So I'm just gonna, I could be a little not optimally sharp and still play the tactics game. I don't want to talk about assisted suicide while I'm not like on top of my game. I hope that's okay with everybody. Where am I thinking about doing this? Where am I thinking about committing an act of some kind of violence? Probably over here, right? Like maybe the totem goes down there, or it's tough to put the totem in a place where the attack is really going to do much, to the point where I'm wondering if maybe it makes sense to take the attack off the totem. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to step to here this turn, and let's see what happens. Okay. I think I'm going to go for it. We're going to go. It is scary to, like, as we saw last time, though, it is scary to reveal myself after spending 8 AP, because gosh, the enemies sure do get a lot of turns. And it seems like the lesser strifes are content to just, like, die. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty compelling, right? Alright. Invulnerability for everybody. Then you move down here and you cast a Mutilate, which does not harm your friends, sadly. Alright, I'm really hoping that they won't all shoot at the ranger this time. Damn it. Because, like, I can bear some violence. We have a flesh bond with the totem, which obviously helps. And I do appreciate that this guy moved himself into totem damage position. So 140. This won't kill you. I can heal myself. We have 1 turn of regen left. And then man's got 14 HP and fragilized poison on him, so we're good. Yeah, also our totem's gonna kill him before it even matters. Your hit damage inflicts hyper empathy for 5 turns. Deals fear damage to the target whenever the caster takes health damage. That's interesting. I mean, a lot of what we're doing here is trying not to take health damage, though, I would note. I think I just like defensive. I think defensive's a good start. That's a lot of HP. And I have a stack of wounded, which I assume is not going to be active between combats. Okay, here we go. This looks like the thing. Sabine's aggression. There are only so many goals and dreams you can give up on before your gagged combativeness turns into something darker. Something you couldn't control. Something that could control you. Betrays other enemies for power. This is really clever mechanical design, integrating with the thematics and stuff. I really like a lot of what they're doing here. Also, honestly, I think this is great. Oh, right. Because of the enrage. That's why we lost 2 combat charges. Or we lost 2 barrier charges on the earlier turn. I like the music a lot. I think it's good tactic game music. So, what do we know about you? Not a damn thing. 1500 HP is what we know about you. I'm already detected. I think what I'm going to do here is take an early dash. I'm trying to get myself... Stupid wound. I'm trying to get myself into a protected position while spending as few AP as possible. Alright, so you got 3 AP, but you can't see me from where you are. And we'll go big next turn. Whoa, okay. Don't know exactly what Snap does, but it feels like I probably don't want to be here when it happens. So we'll do this. We'll throw down our... I mean, I don't want to... I'm trying to figure out, like, what do I want to do here? Because I don't want to use the bulwark yet, probably, right? I guess let's throw you down. And then, sadly, I can't produce enough AP for you to get to act, really. I'm going to get hit either way. The question is, do I start up the spider missile now? I think so. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to be a little ugly. You're going to just stockpile. Yeah, this is going to be an ugly turn, but if we survive this turn, I think we should be in good shape. Alright, so we don't know what Snap does. Ow! And then man puts me in a fire. Alright, well I don't love that, obviously. Thing is, I really do want to get like maximum value on this Ghastly Ranger, so I think I am going to run through the fire again. Cause like I want to do the whole dance. It's a good dance. The question is, do I take one step forward so that if he shoots me back again, well, when he shot me back, it moved me 2 spaces anyway. So I guess it probably wouldn't matter. Actually, maybe I should have... I didn't even think about it, but how different is the Awakened version of this? So the thorns are 50% more effective. Shield is quite a lot. Yeah, I should have spent an awareness point on that. I should have awakened it. All right, shield us up. All right, we're getting some stuff done here. And he stayed within range of the totem, which is fantastic. So I think this is like an 8. This is a do 8 points worth of things turn, right? So if I breath myself, which I think is worth doing, and then I like move to here, refresh the missile, and then just step out of the way. That's a ton of actions for my minions, and I'm in the cross of the discharge. Okay, I wasn't sure if it would still work because there's no line of sight, but the fact that it does is fantastic. Yeah, and like that fragilized, it's adding up, right? It's doing a lot overall. Okay. So it's the way cooldowns work in this game is so strange to me. I can't do this turn after doing it last turn, but it has a 1-turn cooldown. But if it had no cooldown, I'd be able to do it multiple times per turn, right? It kind of, to me, it kind of seems like there isn't anything that makes a skill have a 1-turn cooldown. It's like there's 0 and there's 2, and 2 is mislabeled as 1. If that makes that makes that any clearer. All right, so there's a weakened lesser strife summoned in here. I mean, I'm not really worried about that. I think what I might do, maybe it's worth it to just move to here. Just accept the barrier damage. And then just like throw a bunch of punches. He has a blaze. I should probably actually read that. Okay. It's not gonna like set me on fire for touching him. We've gotten through 1,000 HP already. I'm feeling pretty good about our build overall. And then yeah, if I just like throw a bunch of punches here. The fragilized wore off, which is a shame, but this gets us double barrier charges and double damage. I'm feeling pretty good about our strategy as a whole here. I think things are really working out. Okay, that's a bummer. He's going to attempt to betray his friend there, but I don't think he's going to have a shot. I think you have run out of time for betrayal, my dude. Okay, that really wasn't that bad. I mean, it was a tier 2 mind, right? So I had a feeling we were going to kind of flow through that. Let's get the hell out of here, as we are required to do. Okay, 130 discipline plus a learning point that we're going to use to gain more discipline. A fire has been put out. It feels cooler? No, it feels cold. Yep, good. I'm glad that they didn't try to make that like, hey, you did a thing of moral value here. Like, that should be immediately uncomfortable. Psst, are you awake? Well, I'm standing up with both eyes open. Why are you whispering? Morning. I've developed a new way to alter your equipment. Go check it out. Will do. Go get some sleep. Pum is being very weird. Pum seems weird. Okay, open the Alter tab in the equipment menu. I totally will. Let me just go do this real quick. What is that? Store 5%. Oh, right, it's a shriek. Yeah. We saw one of these before. Hold on, what was it's a big heart? Okay, increases affliction resistance. That's not very exciting. Grants 5% of your max HP as a shield on exploration or on expiration. Yo, I think that is probably better. I think the thorn that we're using right now is not green quality. Let's hit the transposer log. I'm not allowed to do that from here. Okay, back to hub. It's weird. It's okay. They don't want me to do anything before I do the alter tab thing. Fine. Similar to Synapse Fusion, equipment alteration lets you upgrade and customize your equipment in exchange for tokens and catalysts. Okay. Fully reroll stuff. Reroll modifier tiers. I'm assuming like engrave selected modifier. Yes, you can keep stuff while you're rerolling. Sacrifice an uncommon plus item to sublime a unique item of the same type with its modifiers. Subliming an item again replaces its modifiers. Wow, that's a costly process there. I don't really want to mess with anything right now. I think I'm think I'm good, thanks. Also, gosh, we sure don't have tokens. Okay. Decent amount of stuff earned. Then we're going to come in here and... like, we could head further into the automaton part of the tree, and specifically we could be headed for, like, automatons gain increased effect power every turn. Totems gaining magnify is certainly meaningful, but I think we, like, really badly need the self-improvement at the moment. So I am going to stick to that. All right. Now that we have some of that, I mean, I might not even bother to rewire this too much at the moment. I guess this is like, this is free to do, right? We may as well just turn this into a murder ranger. Yeah, it doesn't actually change anything. And then, you know, one other thing, a thing we can do pretty cheaply that I was definitely thinking about was throwing Gust onto this, right? I think this was, yeah, it was just out of reach before. But this could do some work. This could save a life. It's a shame that the way that these effects time, on the turn that we summon this thing, it will go after the enemies, and thus it will remove effects right before our turn, which is rad. On most turns, it will remove effects, and then the enemies will lay stuff down, and then we'll have to maneuver around the effects. So it's kind of awkward, actually. Whatever, I'm just going to leave it for right now. I'm not going to mess with it. I just, yeah, fully unequipped Fear Spear because it's not doing anything. Like, when would I use it? The whole point of it was the bonus casting range, but now that we have a two distance punch, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's just not doing anything, and we needed the space a little bit. All right. Shall we do another one of these horrible things? Like, okay, here's a question. Yeah, you have to do this, right? For the plot. You have to engage in a thing that I imagine they think most players are going to find pretty objectionable. It's interesting. It's an interesting approach. I'm trying to think, like, you would want to put this on something that you want to fire as like part of the second wave of your combat strategy, right? Because you want your first part to be distributing all your debuffs. 55% power bonus is pretty real. That's really interesting. You know what? What's he do? Gives us this. I don't even know how this is supposed to work. It has to be that the skill can be immediately reused for free if it directly kills a target, right? Because otherwise I don't know. Let's just do this. Let's just handle this thing. We don't know what this guy did or did not do. He seems to have completely surrendered to fatalism, which, you know, in his position I can understand. And we're having a little conversation with ourselves here. I think we're just going to have to move on without further knowledge of what we're doing. His mind is a little different than a lot of the ones we've been in so far. Although, the specific phantasms we see here, of course, are familiar. Can I dash over a gap like this? No. So we're stepping through the tier pool no matter what. It's annoying. Infect. Gross. All right. Causing other enemies to gain undeath. That's concerning. Okay, resist the next death blow unless it's pure damage. And it's getting the tenacious effect from that. Okay. So every turn, it's going to gain resistance to the next death blow. So you have to kill them twice in one turn to actually kill them. And they have grief resistance. Well, most of our damage isn't grief. The poison part of this skill is, but that's fine. Like, this skill is absolutely still worth using even with that being the case. All right, since we are in a position here where we might have a little bit more time to set up, I guess it depends. I might not want to like go off all at once, right? Maybe I want to like put down the rod and then wait there. It's like not do anything else. Damn it. Of course he moved. Now I wish I had summoned the other thing first. So you're 4 turns up, and you won't act this turn if I don't spend any more AP. I think I'm going to just end turn again. I'll just stockpile up to an amount, and then we'll go off this turn. Blow something up. Gonna come back over here by any chance? No? Okay. That's weird. He didn't resist that death blow. I was expecting to set him up so that the Ghastly Ranger would finish him off, but because we certainly didn't kill him with pure damage, right? That guy has offered himself up to the barrier, and I think we should allow to the totem, and I think we should allow the totem to do the work. I can just run over here and throw a punch, I guess. That gives my pals a lot of AP to work with. Yeah, having 2 range on your punch is high value for sure. Alright, so when they're undeaded, they go to 0, right? So they resist back up to 1 HP probably. Okay, that's a real kill because the thorn damage is pure. The thorns are so good. They're like so unbelievably good. Remove cooldown on your movement skills for 3 turns. Interaction range, I don't know that it's even super relevant here. I think I'm going to take the swiftness. And I guess we just keep going. So there is like a little, an emptiness engine. Disconnect from your own needs for long enough and you'll feel them assembling. Unclear annoyances, frustrations that are difficult to describe, small enough to hide from solutions, but big enough to ensure permanent dissatisfaction. There is something to be said for like the trickiness of they want this stuff to feel pretty heavy, right? They're approaching some pretty heavy subjects here. Are you doing the same thing? No, you're doing a Thorns aura. That is way more worth dealing with. But how much does it sort of like breach the vibe? How bad of a problem is it if your game is really fun while it's dealing with the heavy stuff? Because like I'm over here like laughing and having a good time while I'm doing a thing that is, you know, monstrous. Should I be having feelings about that? So if you can clear these with an interact, but they also have 1 HP. If I totem here, the totem should clear him out, right? And I think I'm gonna do that thing again where I space these out. It worked really well last time. Okay, Ghastly Ranger, and then I guess we can Buckler Harvest now. My concern, I suppose, is I don't know if the totem will act if I do, because it'll have enough AP. I'll just end the turn. It's fine. Okay, here we go. Surprise, everybody. Didn't end up using the totem's attack anyway. And then I'm just gonna like heal myself. That'll give you all enough AP to act, and let's see what happens. A couple of barriers go up. Yeah, +1 range on the totem will definitely make it a lot more interesting. Alright, and then these enemies will find their way over here, and they will regret having done so. Right, I'm just going to throw a bunch of punches. You have like 7 AP right now. Yeah. So this will push you over double shot. And this is probably already going to clear the battlefield, right? Oh, he doesn't quite have the AP to shoot again. But, like, they're close enough that they're going to start hitting us and dying to thorns. Or maybe not quite. Well, it turns out my punches are extremely serious and my arms are very long. I don't think deception's really what we're after. Like, a very powerful regen feels like overkill, but what else am I going to take? And now let's go fight a boss. With some very powerful regen on, so maybe this will turn out not to be overkill, actually. Dorjan's Hollow. At first, it was just pain, then a hole, then a vaster gape, then this. The thin husk of being that remains is barely enough to justify existence. So he's going to summon thorned bramble prisons and do large-scale devastation. Whew. Alright, I mean, I hear you. So... Once again, we have the question, like, what is appropriate to do on the first turn? I would have to step forward 3 times before casting to establish this. That gives him 6 AP to work with. I still have some shielding. I have pretty powerful regen. That's probably okay, right? I'm still infected. And I mean, we do want to get the Fragilize up. Alright, and then 3. So I could put up one of the things, and maybe I should. We have no idea what his attack's going to be like. I'm a little leery to summon one of them and not do the harvest. Because obviously it could just explode. I guess if I'm worried about that, the totem is the one to summon. Because the totem is much more likely to survive. Oh, that's annoying. So we don't know exactly what Ache is going to do. Which makes it hard to know if it's a thing that I even really want to try to escape. Hide your sorrow. Barricade it. Make sure no one who cares remains unscathed. Yeah, I mean, that's some real shit. I mean, yes, like we punch our way out, right? And then perform a dash. And then I guess I'm going to summon the Ranger. And we're just not really going to be able to take advantage of the full potential of our shield thing here. I'm going to summon the Ranger, and then I'm going to step back because I want totem shielding. Okay, that is a very serious amount of damage. That is a thing that we care about. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do the Buckler Harvest. And if I spend 2 more AP, you'll get an extra shot. So at the risk of letting the boss attack twice, because I think that is probably what this is going to do, given he's going from 4 to 6, I am going to take a swing so that our minion gets to attack twice as well. Huh. Okay, that's annoying. Your facade is obnoxious enough that it can rend through flesh, but there's still purity deep inside. So it's not really clear to me what the difference, like if there is a mechanical difference between the gorged ones and the others. Let's just experiment, right? There's nothing for it but to find out. I punch you. Ah, okay. The gorged ones leave behind clear water. Interesting. Do I want to do anything else? Yeah, probably. I mean, I could heal. That feels like overkill. I guess I'm gonna throw another punch here, and then I'm gonna step and clear my infect. That gives you 6 AP to work with. Like, figure it out, please. He didn't really figure it out. Ow, I've been depleted. Oh no. Okay, so, I mean, a thing I can do here is I can, like, drop our totem here, throw a punch, did some damage to the totem, use a dash to step diagonally, and that way the totem has exactly enough AP to fire once. Let the ranger work on the boss, and if somehow we are all still alive... Oh, I guess that was his last turn for fleeting reasons. Okay. The totem did some work there on helping me escape. I appreciate that. So how am I going to get out? I'm trying to think, like, if I want to summon the ranger, it would be best to do it before I start throwing punches. But I do have to actually make it out as well. And if I summon the ranger here, then I can't escape through this tile. And I don't have dash, so I can't go diagonally. So I think the thing to do is just throw a normal punch, as boring as this is. Step to here, and then ranger afterward. Gotta take that ache seriously. Alright, unfortunately, I'm not really going to be able to shield you the way I would like. Well, actually, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to drop the spider missile like this. So refresh the effects on the boss. That's going to create... It creates a tier pool here, which is a shame. I'm still going to step into it, so that we can get the good version of the buckler. And then, you got an attack. I'm just going to end my turn. Hoping to not let the boss do too much here. Okay, next turn we are suffering a lament, and I'm not sure... We don't know exactly what it's going to do. What I'm really wondering is whether I have the AP necessary to get out of it. Like, it might be the case that the best thing I can do here is just punch, punch, punch. Because if I do this, allowing my minion 2 attacks with the poison and the fragilize, I bet we just kill him. I'm just gonna punch through my whole AP stack here. Yeah. Undesirable neural activity has ceased. Woof. That is certainly a way to describe the thing that we have just done. Okay, and we got a dull Ankh. Woo. It does feel better. However pointless, it feels better. Yeah, I imagine this would not do much to dissuade you from fatalism. Sort of just like commit to it anew. Dealer, what you got for me? Some shit I can't afford. Tier 2 form. Right, the form is just what these are called. So, plus power to berserk, shrieks, and fragilizes. I don't think we want that. I don't think that's going to do anything for us. And we don't have enough tokens. We're not even getting any tokens for working out here. Alright, 2 entire shards. Incredible work. Incredible stuff. Yeah, I'm just trying to scroll the screen, you. This is good, right? This is worth a point. I honestly don't know how much effect it's going to have. One thing that I do like about this is the next time we find a dull mind key, we can sort of just run in through here and grab the totem and maturity thing, and then the deep summoning skills. So you don't necessarily have to come through all of these, like, honestly pretty incremental points. I don't know that we need another +1 to summoning number. I mean, we would have to get a lot more discipline before that could even potentially be useful, right? All right, we got one more to do. Let's take a quick look at the Neural Forge. So we have another 355 left. I might be able to reconfigure some things. Now that we've got 2 level ups and 2 of those points, we might be able to reconfigure some things to make some slightly better use of our powers. We have a second Thorns, which is interesting. Do I want 5% of max HP as shield over this? Because I don't think I would use a second Thorns. What I would do is replace the one we have. Honestly, I like the damage. The damage is really meaningful. Teleport to target tile. So, oh, okay, hold on. Like, dash in target direction requires a clear trajectory. Is Flash just better? Crafted skill has a minimum cooldown of 1, but we're using it on a cooldown anyway. Like, this is just better, right? Why would I not swap that? Honestly, like, you could throw Gust on that, right? And then that way it'll clear the destination tile for you. Put the Gust first, obviously. Maybe that's a better use for our Gust, actually. Making sure that we always have a safe place to go. Single target skills with different effect types can never apply all the effects at once. Oh, wait, what is our... Oh, this would work, though, right? Target self. The thing is, what this actually does is it targets the tile. The way the dash is worded... Huh. Is it's weird that this has a... Like, the form actually does... You pick a target tile. It's weird that the way that the movement skills are worded is that they target yourself, but you still are targeting the tile. And in fact, the effect has target tile in the description. This should work, shouldn't it? I'm gonna do it. It's gonna disassemble our totem, but whatever. I'll rebuild it real quick, and we're just gonna see what happens. I'm gonna use that for the first time, and it's gonna be frustrating, I'm sure. All right, so we'll put you back on. I definitely want you to strike really hard. Fear is the hardest one we have. So I mean, we're really doing a lot of fear damage now. I do love the barrier effect. And then if we put you on, what I had you on a 3/3 before, right? Yeah, that leaves us with a little bit of stuff left. This shows the gust icon now, but it's because the gust is the first thing in the spell, right? Oops, that's not what I meant. Don't unequip that. I need that. I'm really worried about this this assistant warning. Like down there in the lower right, it shows it still teleporting us. So am I just not going to get the effect of the gust? Whatever, we'll have to... Oh, you know what? There's a simulator. Right, there's a whole... They did a whole thing to make it so that you don't have to guess, right? How do I access the simulator? Here we go. This is really nice. This is a smart thing for them to build into the game because of the complexity of the system. All right, so... is there a way for me to spawn some junk on the ground? That's really what we need, right? All right, so if I do this, it worries me too that like the wording is backwards. Right, like it should show the clear effect first. Okay, none of this stuff is tools for interacting with. Okay, well at the very least it allows us to teleport, so I didn't lose the ability to move around. I'm gonna bounce out of here. I think the only way to really test this is going to be to attempt to teleport on top of a harmful effect, which we will do. And it's true, I did now encounter targeting dummies. All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to leave that for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, more truly horrible things await. And then hopefully beyond that, mostly the horrible things will be happening to me. I feel much more comfortable in that situation. And we'll see you then.